Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Bit late in the day recording a Lions Test series win reaction. I was at work over the weekend. It's been a busy week. I did record a video on Monday, but it was full of mistakes. I was stuttering and stumbling. I forgot one of the try scorers, so I thought, sod it, I'll try again. So the Lions have recorded a historic Test series victory over the Wallabies. The second win in 3 attempts. I want to say the third win in 4. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that the Lions won down under in 1989. So he revisited in 2001, made a cracking start in that Test series as well. David James, Brian O'Driscoll, Jason Robinson scoring tries. That the Wallabies ran over them in the second Test, and then despite Johnny Wilkinson scoring a rare try in the third Test, they got over the line. 2013, the Lions secured victory. Again, a win in the first Test, largely, arguably, you could say, down to some disappointing Australian goal kicking. I remember Christian Liliofano was off injured very early in the Test, I believe. James O'Connor was given the kicking duties from there on in and struggled from the tee, despite being an unbelievable player, an unbelievable talent. You know, look at some of the kicks he'd nailed. I think it was either 2008, 2009, from the sidelines to beat the All Blacks. Might even have been 2010. Anyway, it was earlier than that 13 Test series. But then we had Kurtley Beale missing right at the end, I think. In the second Test, Lee Halfpenny took a hit at full 50 plus meters on the angle and just fell short. And that was that. But then the Lions were all back in the third Test. They completely blew away the Wallabies. You know, an early try from Alex Corbisiero, and then tries from Johnny Sexton, George North, Jamie Roberts. I want to say Halfpenny scored in that game as well. I might be wrong. They run to victory. This Test series is slightly different. The first game, Lions early dominance. The Wallabies fought back a little bit towards the end, whilst the Lions standards dropped a little bit. Their intensity dropped. This second game was a different story altogether. What a fucking Test match that was. Unbelievable game. The Wallabies come out and they were up for it. Big time. Aussie pride on the line. Big Will Skelton, Valentini were up for it. They were up for it in a big way. Carried hard. Skelton was bouncing people left, right and centre. At one point, he got in a bit of a ruckus with someone. Marrow come in as the captain and sort of, to be fair, fronted up to Will Skelton, and Skelton just sort of kept him at arm's length. I remember texting my mate saying, oh, Marrow needs to be meaner, because you think of confrontational Lions captains. I think of Jono in 97, watching the Lions documentary. Jono again in 01. Then after that, also you got Paul O'Connell in 2009 as captain. You know, big guy you're not going to mess with. Even Brian O'Driscoll dishing it out to Victor Matfield and Danny Rousseau in 09. Then 13, obviously Sam Warburton, bit of a different character, a bit calmer. 17 again, but you had likes of Peter O'Mahony, Warriors. But throughout the early, I'm not going to say Wallaby dominance because they weren't dominant, but the early Wallaby pressure, physicality, it was the Lions who scored first. They had a try disallowed. I believe it was Jack Conan spilt the ball over the line. Then they got there. Dan Sheehan. There's a couple of things that the Aussie press have been moaning about since the game, and that is one of them. That he dove over a player, which you're not allowed to do. But I've not read the laws because there's fucking too many of them. But it does say, I've heard this confirmed by referees, the law. They even confirmed it on commentary. You are allowed to dive over a player in the act of scoring a try, which you see the top wingers doing day in, day out. You look at people like BRA or whatever for France, Penaud for France, Cheslin Colby, even fucking my boy Jack Noel. I say my boy, fellow Cornishman Jack Noel out in France. You know, those, you see it all the time in Super Rugby, that sort of one-armed touchdown and they roll into it over the shoulder. Brilliant finishes. So there we go, that clears that up. Then the Wallabies hit back just prior to Finn Russell's conversion hit the post. But the Wallabies were already 6-0 up, 2 great penalties from Liner. Then the Wallabies hit back. You had a try scored by, I think it was Gordon, the scrum half. Tommy Freeman got sin-binned. I still don't know what for. In every YouTube video, interview, podcast I've listened to, no one's mentioned it. Now, I can't see him being the kind of guy to gob off at the referee. He must have done something at a previous ruck because he was nowhere near the scoring sequence. And then they scored twice more. The fullback, I forget his name. What a player, what a game he had. And then I think they scored again through the forwards. Blitz. Next thing you know, the Lions are 23-5 down. They strike back though before half-time. Tom Curry, a great try. Great carry by Freeman. Again, that gets lost. He came back onto the field of play after his 10-minute period on the sidelines. Great carry. One of those sort of carries where he gets tackled but he rumbles forward and someone else joins in and they just take, I reckon they made a good 15-20 metres. Gets the lines up the pitch. Gibson Park quickly out. I think it comes to Jack Conan again, who played quite well, I thought, on the night. Flips it over to Tom Curry. Great step inside. Second try in as many tests when a lot of people question why he was included. Justified. Russell nails his conversion. His hardest kick of the night, and he nailed it right on the sideline. Boom. Straight as an arrow. Then Hugh Jones comes back with a try. Typical Hugh Jones. He's a big unit, isn't he? I can remember him. I remember watching Wales against Argentina live in Cardiff. Got tickets. November 2016. And I remember me and my brother and a couple of others, mates, we were out on the sesh. And we watched Australia against Scotland. And I'm pretty sure it was Hugh Jones, one of his first tries for Scotland. I'm sure it was him. I know this is, 9 years ago. But it's a typical try by him. I didn't realise he was such a big lad. He's got pace, he's got the step, but it just bundles through. They haven't got enough to stop him. Bang. There we go. Then the second half, the Lions score, 2 more? Tyburn, great try. Liner has another penalty, and then the winning try. Keenan. Oh, Hugo Keenan, what a try. 79th minute. They're building phases, they're building momentum. Russell gets whipped the ball, sort of sidesteps, hesitates, doesn't quite know what he's doing, turns around, secures possession, maintains possession, does not give it away, manages to offload before he gets tackled. Now, a lot of people criticise Finn Russell for his performance. Yeah, it didn't go to plan with ball in hand. He missed a few kicks at goal. He nailed his most difficult one there, as I've said already, peach of a kick. But I tell you what, which aspect of his play was bloody brilliant was his defensive play, his tackling, but his kicking from hand was sensational. He hit 2 kicks, penalties, into the corner. I always go back to Henry Slade, Exeter Chiefs, against who it was I can't remember. It was an important game, semi-final, I believe, of, I want to say Premiership, it might have been the Heineken Cup, I don't know, at Sandy Park, and he hits a penalty with his left peg and it goes so far into the corner, it could not have been in any further if it was on the corner flag itself. Unbelievable. Finn Russell hit 2 of those in that winning test. 2 of them. Fantastic. Anyway, the ball gets recycled. You have a bit of controversy over a ruck, which I'll get to in a minute, and Hugo Keenan ends up with the ball. Look, careers wide, veers off. There's a man on the wing. I forget who it was. It may have been James Lowe. It may have been one of the back row forwards. It might even have been Jack Conan, actually. Popping up once again. Shaping like he's going to pass it, and he's on that perfect angle where the defender's like, oh, do I stick, do I twist? And he slides in. Russell misses a conversion. It does not matter. Lions have won the game. They've won the series. Now, the big controversy. I forget his name. I want to say Lavenzi or something. It's like an Italian name. I believe he was the Aussie replacement hooker. He's jackling for the ball. Jack Morgan comes in, clears him out. There's a theatrical dive. Theatrical, well, dive, that's maybe the wrong word. Theatrical reaction. Morgan has hit him, yeah. Borderline on the neck, shoulders. But Lazzini or whatever is that, I'm just going to say the hooker is so low, there's nothing he can do about it. It clears him out, and the Aussies have been whinge about this. But the referee saw no problem with it. They went back, they looked it up, they analysed it till the cows come home, and it was ruled fair play at the ruck. So there we go. Fantastic. Historic win for the Lions. Historic result, 2-0. Looking to go 3-0 in the series tomorrow. All the best for the Lions. Fantastic. Get up.